There have been so many gaming mice released in 2022, some of which have been great, many of which have been bad. But what if you want a visual ranking of all the mice I've reviewed in 2022? Well, here's a tier list, all the way to S for super cool to stinky for very stinky. This might help you decide what to ask for Christmas. But remember, Santa doesn't give gifts to bad gamers.
The first one is the SteelSeries Aerox 3 Wireless. I'm putting that in C because I hated the shape. It hurt my hand. It hurt my hand so much it was literally really sore for 2 weeks. And overall, I just think it was somewhat pretty mediocre. What I'm also going to do now for the Aerox 5, I'm going to put that in A, despite the fact that they're almost the same mice, just different shapes. But the shape of the Aerox 5 was brilliant. I absolutely loved it. It's still water resistant like the Aerox 3 as well, but it also had some pretty cool side buttons. It had a thumb button, the normal side buttons, and it also had a little flappy paddle that it could use above the mouse 4 and 5. And I actually really... I didn't use it, but I thought it was a good idea. So I'm putting that, actually, you know what? I'm going to drop it down to B. I'm going to drop it down to B. Now that I've thought about it, I didn't actually use the added features that much, but I'm going to move it to B because they tried. It's like a gold star. Next up, Fantech Aria, or the T-Evolution Aria XD7, a mouse with fantastic internals, across the board, all the mouse buttons 1, 2, 4, 5, mouse 3, interchangeable backs that are magnetic if you don't want holes on the back, great mouse feet, great performance, everything about it was superb. Absolutely loved it. It's a good shape as well, especially if you're not really too sure on gaming mice, and it's relatively well priced at around about $100. So by far S tier because it literally ticks all the boxes. Next up, Lamzu Atlantis, pretty much similar to the Aria XD7, everything I just listed in terms of hardware and everything. A pretty great shape that's similar to the XM1R, the endgame gear one, the wireless one coming soon. They come in a great variety of colors. You also get free glass mouse feet as well that comes with it. So the box is actually pretty, get some goodies in it. So they've successfully bribed me into giving them an S tier rating. And overall, the quality was pretty decent. I enjoyed using it and I felt like overall it was a great mouse. The Basilisk V3 Pro, I would put into S tier. However, I don't use it for gaming. So I'm putting it into A tier just because of the scroll wheel. If it didn't have a good scroll wheel, I don't even think it would be... I'd probably put it in C just because it's just a heavy gaming mouse and it's just a bit of a lump. But because this scroll wheel is really, really good, it's really good for work. I just love it because using Photoshop Premiere Pro, Adobe Audition with this lockable auto-locking scroll wheel is just a dream come true. It's just so nice. It's so effortless. But yeah, I don't use it for gaming because it's just too heavy. Unless I was playing like Peggle Deluxe. Rocket Burst Pro Air. I'm going to put that on C because that was a kind of good mouse. However, it was let down by the awful Titan optical switch that just feels incredibly mushy. And I feel like every time the quality of switches on the main mouse 1 and 2 goes up with other manufacturers, it really does make it more glaringly obvious how bad those optical switches are, I think. So I have to drop it down to C just because the clicks were just really, really mushy. I'm actually going to do 2-in-1 now, which is the Death Adder V3 Pro and the Viper V2 Pro. Cheating a bit, I know. However, because they are pretty much the same mouse, just different shapes, they deserve to be punched up just for this tier list. Great mice, expensive, but you're getting the best quality of hardware on the market. So I can't really complain there at all. The only thing I think I didn't like with the V3 Pro is that it's a bit hollow whenever you use the mouse clicks, but I guess it is a little bit of a chunkier size. But anyway, these are lightweight, great shapes on both of them, great quality. I love the coating, and yeah, the V3 Pro is what I use at home to play games with anyway, so it's, yeah, a no-brainer. They're definitely S tier. Even though they're expensive, you get what you pay for. B tier has got to be the Fnatic Bolt. Even though mine was actually really, really good and I enjoyed using it, a lot of people have had complaints about side buttons not registering. So I am going to take a bit of the community thoughts general reaction in total for this mouse into my verdicts on this. I won't in my top 5 video. It'll just be complete personal bias. But yeah, it was kind of good, but kind of not great. Considering it was like their first mouse in like quite a while, and it was a decent push to be esports worthy. They've done a good job. I just felt like there were a few sketchy parts. I think the review unit I got replaced anyway because the middle mouse button just stopped working, and I know that a lot of people have had problems with side buttons not working as well. Unfortunate, but that's why it's B tier. It is a pretty decent price though, but yeah, I'm just going to stick it there. The Logitech G502X Plus is going to be either C or D. You know, it might change. I'm putting it on C because 1, it's quite expensive. 2, you literally are just paying for RGB over the G502X Lightspeed. And 3, the pre-travel on the main switches was hilariously bad. It was really, really poor. So basically, pre-travel is how long you have to press the button for it to actually trigger the switch. Most of the time, you want it to be 0. You don't want any delay at all because it just normally points to a poor quality button and poor quality overall. Yeah, this, considering the price, it was actually very, very mediocre, I felt. And in comparison to the Basilisk V3 Pro, it just, I felt like it was glaringly mediocre in my opinion, so that's why it's C tier, subject to change. The next S tier mouse already is the Pulsar Haste Wireless. I know I spoiled it, but I absolutely love this mouse. It's pretty well priced. I think it's around about $70-ish. A decent mid-range sensor, decent switches. It's literally got everything you want. It's fuss-free, great shape. Comes with grip tape if you want it as well. It's water and dust resistant, and I just think, including all the price and everything, it's just an absolutely great mouse, and I love it. I think it's really, really good. The next one is the G-Wolves HSK Plus, which I'm going to put into B tier. The reason why this is a B tier mouse, even though it kind of does what it's meant to do, which is just a fingertip grip mouse, it does it very well. It is a fingertip grip only, it's very small. There's 2 reasons. 1, it's very expensive for what you get. Bear in mind, you're getting like half a mouse and you have to pay full price. I know that sounds a bit petty, but I'm just saying. And also, it's got micro USB, and it came out this year, I believe. So that is just a shambles, and there is no excuse for outdated technology. So that's why it is B tier. Next up is the Katana Superlight, which I'm going to put into A tier. I really like this mouse. I love the switches. I think it was like blue switch, pink dot, or something like that. Some Huano switches. Overall, I think this one completely flew under the radar for me because I thought it was kind of mediocre at first, and I started using it again for a couple of weeks, like around middle this year, and I really liked it. The shape was actually really good. The quality of it was really good. It is only A tier because it has got a magnetic charging port and not USB Type-C, so I do not like anything that is not universal standard because it just means more e-waste, so that's why it gets an A tier. Next up is the Roccat Cone XP, which is going into Stinky tier because it has the terrible optical Titan switch. The scroll wheel was absolutely garbage. The only redeeming features were the side buttons feeling better than the main buttons, and at the bottom of the mouse where your thumb rests, there's a little switch there, like a little trigger switch, which I thought was pretty good. So if there was something below Stinky, it has climbed out of that just because of those minor redeeming features. It comes with a dock as well, but yeah, overall it is just a stinky mouse. The next one that goes into D tier is the Master Mouse 731, which is a shame because I absolutely love the shape of it. It's lightweight, overall it's brilliant. However, the scroll wheel is just a piece of rubber that is not even glued or stuck or attached to the wheel itself. So if you are like me and you use the scroll wheel very lightly, you will actually just you will move the rubber but not the scroll wheel. So it will feel like it's scrolling, but it's not doing anything at all. You are literally just turning a piece of rubber that sits on top of the wheel. It's a shame as well because this mouse had a really bad launch and it could have done really well, but well, I think it's the same with most Cooler Master mice. I think I even remembered I said it at the start or when I reviewed it that every single one of their mice seemed to be really good, but there's always something that holds it back. And that's just one of them, unfortunately. Next, A tier is the Glorious Model I, a great G502 kind of shape. Side buttons, extra side buttons, sorry, I should say, that you can remove if you don't want them. You can replace them with just flat ones, so they're not even there, or you can replace them with different shapes, so you can make ones that are a little bit more tucked away, a little bit more easily reachable. Overall, I thought it was a really good mouse, pretty well priced as well, and it's a wired version. There is a wireless version coming soon next year, but I think it's A tier just because it really did a good job of everything. I would put it S tier, but it's not wireless. Next up is the Model O wireless. I'm putting that in B tier because the build quality of it was relatively mediocre. I'm also putting it in B tier because it's kind of hard to really distinguish which one's the new one and which one's the old one on Amazon, because they're still both listed and you could end up buying the wrong version, because the new version doesn't have holes on the buttons and it also has upgraded switches, but there is still opportunity for you to buy the old one, which I don't know why you ever would. And so, yeah, that's why it's B tier. There is a new one of this one coming out, I think, next year, which, well, no, that's probably for a different video. Next one is the MZ1 Wireless, which I'm going to put into B. I would put it into A tier, but I just can't get on with the shape myself personally. The removable backs is really annoying, so you have to screw them in instead of using magnets. And Xtrify did use magnets at the start, but they decided now we're going to get rid of magnets and just use screws now. They're going to be dropped down. I mean, I guess it's okay to have like a very unique shape, but I just felt like it just didn't do anything for me personally. Next up is the SteelSeries Prime Wireless, which I am going to put in A because I just love the shape. The weight was okay, the coating was brilliant, and honestly, this mouse is just carried by the coating and the shape. That's the only reason why it's A. If it didn't have good coating, it would definitely be B or C, but the coating and the shape makes it a really good mouse, and it was one that I loved holding. Stinky Pugio 2. This was like a mouse that I felt like had a bit of an identity crisis, even though they do have some pretty cool features in these mice, like you can do swappable switches. I just felt like there was just so much wrong with this mouse. There was like loads of weird etchings on the mouse, so like loads of different parts would just rub against your fingers. I think I remember like the sides just having like this weird grill-like texture, and it was just terrible to hold, which is a shame because it actually was a pretty decent shape. It's just let down massively by a few choices. Next up is the Corsair Saber RGB Pro, whichever it is. There's so many different names for it. I am putting this in A tier. I like the shape. I like the coating. There was a lot there's a lot of good stuff about this mouse. It didn't do hardly anything wrong. It's just a Corsair mouse, so it's just a bit skeptical. It's just a bit skeptical on whether or not they can make a good product. But I was impressed by this. I wasn't blown away from it, but it's a good mouse, which is very surprising for Corsair, especially for an esport focused gamer mouse. So it's A tier. Next up is the Series 1 Pro. From Glorious, the Forge. I'm putting that in S tier because it's literally a Viper Mini, but wireless, great quality, great shape, great coating, great mouse feet. The whole thing is just great. I could, again, this is going to be another video, but considering that they've made a very lightweight mouse with no holes in it, and it's not even a part of their main line, is very disappointing. And the price was about $100 as well, so it's well priced, I think. Next up is is it going to be another S tier? The Xenix, no, it's not. Xenix GT Air, Titan GT Air. It's A tier, even though I absolutely loved it, just because it's just a bit too small for me. But it's actually a very, very good mouse if you want a Rocket Cone Pure Ultra, and you just want a mouse that is actually like a Rocket Cone that Rocket didn't make, because they don't make good ones. They make Cone XP Airs. Next one is the Asus TUF M4 Air. I believe this is a this was really light. think it was like about 50 grams. And if I remember correctly, I think it had increased polling rate as well. So it actually had 4000 hertz polling rate. It is wired. I'm going to put this in A because from what I remember, I think it was just very, very similar. It's a very similar shape to the Superlight. It's just a lightweight version, very well priced. I think it cost me only about $40 to get as well. So it's a very underrated, flown under the radar gaming mouse. So that's why I'm sticking that one there. Next one is the Vaxi XE. Ooh, I'm putting this at B tier. It's not overly expensive. This is a hard one. It's either B or A. It's a decent shape. The middle button function is just really weird because you can have it to be a DPI toggle, page down, and an emoji menu. So it's kind of got like just a redundant feature on it. Apart from that, everything else was really good and high quality, but it's not wireless and it's got a detachable cable. So they pretty much made a wireless mouse. If you think about it, yeah, it's like just put a different sensor in it and it's wireless. Like, why wouldn't you? So I've been putting it in B just because they lose points for it to not being a wireless mouse and for having a dedicated emoji menu button. Next up is the Pulsar X2, which I loved. However, I can't ignore the community feedback about quality control issues, which is a shame because Pulsar products are like the cleanest looking gaming products I think you can get on the market. And I just think they're really, really good. They do the whole design on the bottom very well. It looks very clean, very nice. I had no problems with my X2 at all. But because, community response is that they are pretty bad. And also they are bringing out a new version of the X2, which is going to apparently solve all these issues. Just doesn't sit right with me. And the last one, which I'm putting into the A tier, is the X-Lite V2, because I think that was a great mouse. It's a good whole type design mouse. The quality control on this, even though it's made by Pulsar as well, is actually really good. It's nothing like the Pulsar X2. It's a very well high quality mouse that's made like really well. And I just loved using it. I think it's great. So that's why it's going to be an A tier mouse, and it's also pretty reasonably priced. Let me just do one look at if I want to quickly shuffle anything around. No, I think I'm happy with this tier list. I'm not. I'm putting the Prime Wireless down to C because I can't have a Prime Wireless on the same level as all of those mice that are above it. It's pretty. Sorry, I'm putting it down to a B. It's pretty mediocre. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I hope you are. If you're not, argue in the comments. Actually, don't argue. I won't respond. But let me know what you think. I'll be doing a best mouse of 2022 video, which will be a lot higher quality than this. So yeah, let me know what you think, and thank you for watching.